Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. I know.
Here we are.
I'm unstable.
It's okay. Me too. We all are during these times. It's tough
I knew
times.
we'd get on.
So you mentioned being in the music industry. What did you do there?
Oh, well, that was when I became involved in the music business because we used to get such a lot of fan mail at that stage, and it used to come to the house, and it was really overwhelming for Jim. And he did have a fan club secretary, or the Beatles did, Frida Kelly. I don't know if you've ever seen a great documentary called Good Old Frida.
I have not seen Good Old
I'll send
Frida.
you a link to it when we finish chatting.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, she's a great girl. She's still going strong in Birkenhead on the Wirral. We keep in touch on the phone about once a week. And she was absolutely overwhelmed by this time with fan mail, you know. It's coming in by sackfuls and boxfuls from all over the world. And some of it used to come directly to us at our house because people would address letters to Paul, Beatles, England, or Paul, Liverpool. And somehow the magic of the post office, they'd find it. And I started opening this fan mail and sorting it. I went to the local shoe shop and got a lot of empty shoe boxes from them. And we had a long dining table, so I spread these boxes out and wrote the names of the countries on the bottom, on the end of them. And I used to get Ruth, who was, like I say, only less than 5 years old, to come and help me sort. And that was sort of a geography lesson for her in a way, because on the right-hand window ledge, we'd put the Far East and, Japan and China and whatnot. I don't think we got mail from China in those days, but Japan certainly. And under the table, we'd put Australia, because that was down under. She often laughs about it, so she can remember that as a sort of beginning of learning about geography. And in those days, a lot of the fans would write a letter and not put their address on the top of it. The address would be on the outside on the envelope. So our first task was to get it all opened and we didn't even have a stapling machine in those days. I don't even know if it'd been invented then. This is 1964. And she would get paper clips and put the envelopes with the letters to make sure that if we were going to reply, we'd get the correct addresses for these fans, you know. And then some of them would start, I'd see the postmarks getting closer and closer. There were a couple of fans who were very dedicated. One of them stowed away on a ship to come to Liverpool because she wanted to marry Paul McCartney. Who didn't? Get in the queue. And one night, months later, Paul was at home for a couple of days and the phone rang. And it was the local dockside police force in Liverpool. And this gentleman said, is this the home of Paul McCartney? And I said, who's calling? And he said, this is the Merseyside Docks and Harbour Board police. We've got a young lady here. I won't say her name in case she's watching today and is embarrassed. But she said she's been invited to your home. Well, of course, she hadn't, you know. And he said, we don't quite know what to do with her. She's from Texas.
Right.
So I had a quick conversation with Jim, and Jim said, tell them to put her in a taxi and send her here. We'll pay for the taxi when it gets here.
That's super generous.
I know, yeah. But so she eventually turned up, and of course Paul was at home. He came downstairs and she was absolutely flabbergasted, as you can imagine. And we fed her and asked her, did her parents know? And she said no. So we made her telephone her parents in America to tell them she was safe and that we'd arranged to get her home again. And then eventually we thought, how do we end this? So, yes, we arranged for a hotel for her, sent her over in a taxi with a little bit of money, an airline ticket or just a handwritten thing to say we'd spoken to the airline and arranged a ticket for her the next day. She flew out of Speke Airport, which is now John Lennon Airport, and went back to Texas. And cut to many years later when Linda was married to Paul and they had... Right. She had Heather, her own daughter from her first marriage, and she had daughters Mary and Stella with Paul. And she sent me a photograph, or a few photographs. She said, oh, this is a girl that I've met in the supermarket. And she comes and takes the children to the park, and it was the same girl. Oh, boy. that was a bit of a worry. I had to get on the phone, quick, smart to Linda and say, no. Don't. I told her the story, you know. So I don't know how that ended, that particular episode, but I haven't heard of her since. But I'm sure she's, you know, if she's alive and well, she's probably watching and, yeah, like they do. But that's why they
always use another viewer.
Yeah, I know. That's why they call them fans. The word comes from fanatics. Most of them are really great, but there's one or two people that are a bit of a problem, you know. You have to be careful.
What is your wildest story when it comes to dealing with fans of Paul, people trying to be around your house, your family?
I would think that it was probably at the Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool. They were there for some kind of a meeting. And, you know, originally they all had homes in Liverpool, but by degrees they moved to London because of travelling and recording and all that. But they were in Liverpool at the Adelphi Hotel and they ordered room service. And the room service tray, the guy, when they opened the bedroom door, it's terribly heavy, this, it was pushing it. And after he'd left them the tray and gone, out pops this girl from underneath the room service tray. She'd somehow managed to get into the hotel and hide, and when she heard that somebody had ordered food for the room where the Beatles were staying, or the suite, she got herself on the bottom shelf of the trolley and got herself moved. I mean, that really, you know, she deserved a prize of it.
No, so she at least gets like an A for effort there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So you and Ruth are family. Obviously, you do business together.
Yeah.
So many times that goes awry, and you guys seem to have such a good system worked out. Do you have any advice for family possibly trying to start a business?
Well, in our case, she and Martin, her husband, and I, we all live in the same house. They live upstairs, I live downstairs. And we each have our, you know, facilities. I've got a bathroom and a kitchen and whatnot. And I try to give them a free margin. There are times when obviously we all get on each other's nerves a little bit, sure. But by and large we get on so well and we laugh a lot, tease each other a lot. And always at the end of the night, before I go to bed, I shout upstairs to Martin, "Good night, John boy," like they used to say in the Waltons.
Oh, of course.
In fact, Michael Leonard, the lady from the Waltons who played the mother, she was here not long ago. She came on my T-Flix Tuesday program. Charming lady she is. Mm-hmm. So I would say what Ruth always says is the main thing to keep a marriage alive or an association is separate bathrooms for everybody.
Separate bathrooms.
Separate bathrooms, somewhere you can go and read or check your cell phone or do whatever you want to do and be alone and shut the door.
I will bring that up to my fiance. We just got engaged and we're looking for places now. So
yeah, 2 bathrooms. Yeah.
Separate bathrooms. That's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to keep your love alive.
Absolutely. Well, Angie, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to be on here. First of all, this is the first video iteration of Sool Radio, so you are kicking off the pilot of that. Oh,
jolly good. Thank you. That's very nice.
If I completely screw up, I apologize in advance. No. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure.
Is there anything you want to plug before we go? Your show,
yes.
Social media?
Why not? Why not plug away? I'm shameless, you know. I've just published my second book, which is called Your Mother Should Know. And I have a line of organic teas, Mrs. McCartney's teas. Ooh. And I have a line of fruit wines, which unfortunately at the moment I can only sell in California and Texas because of some distribution regulations.
Yeah, alcohol laws are...
Yeah,
great.
I know. But hopefully that will change. But you can find me on Facebook. And if you want to order a book or tea or anything, and I like to make donations from the sales of those things to the Linda McCartney Breast Cancer Research Centre in Liverpool. So, oh yes, and this
there we are.
A copy of my book. It's called Your Mother Should Know. And if anybody does want to buy it, they should go to www.mrsmccartneysteas.com and click on the shop. and you'll find all the teas. There's 11 flavors of tea. And this book has got a lot of connect codes in it, QR codes, quick response codes.
Perfect.
Here's my assistant, Ruth. Yeah.
What's that, Bruce?
Yes. And if you click on one of those, you get the app. It's a free app you can download onto your phone. And if you click on that, it opens up another, after you've read the chapter, it opens up another whole, either a video or a BBC article or something connected with what I've just been writing about, you know. So it really gives people like more bang for their buck when they buy the book, and it's very popular.